Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another fragrance rotation video for the week ending the 14th of January, 2024. Spectacular. That's right, friends. Once again, I have returned to you, this time, with another fragrance rotation video. And looking at the fragrances I have worn this week, there has been an eclectic mix of vintage, niche, and modern. So let's have a look, shall we? On Monday, I went with a now firm favourite of mine. And this is from Annick Goutal, and it is Mer Ardente. Outrageous. I love this stuff. I really, really do. I've really come round to this. Myrrh, beeswax, tonka bean, benzoin, all those slightly vanillic, creamy, resinous, balsam things, bit of tonka bean, massive performance, fresh, ambery. It's just gorgeous, like. It's a shame they don't make it anymore. I've managed to pick myself up a few bottles, so hopefully I won't run out. But considering I only started wearing this in September, that is a mighty dent I have put in it. Absolutely loving this stuff. Performance is huge. People seem to love it. It's clean but warm and ambery. It's a gorgeous fragrance. It's a bit like, imagine like Jai Pour Pour Homme and Balenciaga Crystal Ball Pour Homme, but done with a lot more myrrh and in a very niche kind of way. That's what this is. Introduced to me by Fliss earlier last year. First time I wore it, I thought it smelled a little bit rubbery. And then I got the cola vibe, and I really like a cola vibe in a fragrance. M7, Bois de Turkey, Escada Magnetism, and Mer Ardente all got that kind of cola sort of thing. I really quite enjoy that. But this stuff is just, I absolutely love this stuff. This will feature on my top 10 pickups of 2023, which should be coming out in the next week or so. So I hope you will look forward to that. Anyway, on Tuesday I went with something completely different. For some reason, I wore this to the hospital. I went to see the hospital, and the hospital were like, "Hey, how are you?" And strangely enough, the person at the hospital asked me what I drink. And I said, I only drink, and this is true, I only drink tea and water. And she must have looked at me like I had two heads, because I absolutely reeked of Follow by Kerosene, which is a massive coffee fragrance. As my plate has fallen off, but this is a common fault, a common issue with these fragrances, unfortunately. I try and glue it back on if I can figure out a way. I'm pretty crap at stuff like that, but this is one of the best indie niche perfumes made, in my opinion. It's a very realistic coffee. It's got an almost caustic. You know that when you're roasting beans and it's quite like, wow, it can like really be a little bit astringent. It's got that kind of quality about it. There's something of the Tuscan leather abrasiveness about this. But it's still extremely nice. Dries down really beautifully. Gets something a little bit creamy from it. Apparently it's got plant juice in it. But there's benzoin and vanilla. It's ambery in the dry down. It's a gorgeous fragrance. The performance is fantastic. It stays on your clothes. It's just generally lovely. I really like this stuff. I hope it doesn't ever get reformulated. I tried Followed And that had some kind of spiciness, some kind of warm spiciness that I really didn't like about it. But I really did like this. And so I shall stick with this one. And that was on Tuesday. I'll put the plate back because it's just, I don't want it to go missing. Oh, okay, Wednesday. Wednesday I went with something totally different as well. And on Wednesday I wore a fragrance I haven't worn for a long time. And this is Incense Avenon. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. This was gifted to me by a mate, Spy and Mash, who you have seen in the chat before, so thank you, mate. This is incense, woody and resiny, like an ambery woody kind of thing. It's got like a tea vanilla thing in the dry down. I mean, it's mostly incense, don't get us wrong. It is brilliant though. It's a reference incense. It's a very accessible incense kind of perfume. I think it's a Douche 4. It is a Douche 4. I think he did all of them. I've tried the other ones in the line and I wasn't overly taken with them. I kind of feel like this one's where I want to be with accessible incense. One of the more accessible Comme des Garçons for me. Comme des Garçons are quite a difficult brand to get at, you know. I don't mean like be able to buy. I mean like the fragrances are very, very abstract. They're very out there. They're very different, you know. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to get to grips with as a house, but this one's fresh incense, kind of tea, chamomile, elemi, citric, mid into an ambery dry down. That is what I wore on Wednesday. On Thursday, another perfume which is no secret to the channel since I started buying it last year, and this is Melt My Heart from Strangelove. I've said quite a lot about this fragrance already. It is chocolate, iris, musky, fresh, a little bit of oud. It's beautiful. It's brilliantly made with brilliant ingredients with an outrageous price. The price it should not. It's like nearly 800 quid. It's well over $800 a bottle. Excuse me whilst I hydrate. It's vastly overpriced. The whole line is. I don't know what they were thinking, but I do love the fragrance. It is beautiful. It's warm. It's cozy. It's pleasant. It's got so much iris in it that it's just amazing. I've got 2 of these little 15ml bottles and 100ml. A tester I bought for a third of retail, so look out for bargains. They do come up. Okay. Friday I wore a classic of the channel too, and this is a Volutes. Look at the dent I've put in Volutes. This is my favourite Diptyque by some considerable margin. It's a beautiful tobacco. It's not too sweet. I get like a little bit of fruitiness from it. Honey, some iris. It's warm. It's extremely interesting. Volutes are like spiral structures and things, and It's like a volute of smoke. It's like some smoke that's in like a spiral, you know. I would highly recommend trying this one out if you can get to it. I'd love to try the Eau de Toilette, but very hard to get to. This is a 2012 release, and yeah, I really enjoy it. If I haven't reviewed it, I should review it, and I might review that next if I haven't already. But moving on, my friends. Next up, we have a vintage classic, a classic of the channel, and you can see how much I've worn of this. This is Egoiste Cologne Concentré. This is a flanker to the original from 1990. It's darker, it's richer, it's thicker. Sandalwood, cinnamon, rose, a bit of vanilla, something a little bit sweet at the top too. It's gorgeous. The spray is really big too. When you spray it, like 2 or 3 sprays will do, you know, because it sprays out a lot. But you can see how much I rated these bottles. Since I've started selling things off and wearing more of the stuff I love more often, the dents in the bottles are getting bigger quicker. So that's scary. But also, this is why we buy backups, you know. So thank God we do as well. Well, where would I be without my backups? Probably trying new stuff. But not to worry. Okay. Last and certainly not least, it is my scent of the day. And I've said a few times already in this list about classics of the channel, and this is the ultimate classic of the channel. This is Balenciaga Pour Homme. What more can I say about this? One of the great perfumes of all time, in my opinion. This is patchouli, cinnamon, something a bit fruity at the top, like a plum type thing. Honey, oak moss, don't forget the oak moss, cardamom, maybe some sandalwood. It's got a bit of everything. It was made by Gerard Anthony, and it is one of the great designer perfumes of all time, in my opinion. It's just a shame they got rid of it, but I think I read somewhere that the perfume was... it was obsolete before it came out. And, you know, it might have just been a case of bad timing. Which is a shame. I shall look into this. I'll see how much I've got left. Yeah, I've got about 40 ml left in this bottle. That's okay. I'm going to try and wear this a bit more often now. From here until the end of the season. At which point it will be retired again for another 6 months. And speaking of retired, I am going to leave now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all again soon.